Good day everyone, I'm Hurley Barfy Reviews here, back at it again with my review for the Tipsy M1. Yes, apparently this is Tipsy's entry level IEM, and yes, Merry Christmas to everyone. By the time that I post this review, it's probably Christmas wherever you are. So yeah, Merry Christmas, and I do hope that you enjoy your Christmas, probably with your earphones, or probably not use your earphones and socialize with your families and loved ones in today's time. But before I proceed, I'd like to thank Tipsy for sending this unit to me in an exchange for a very honest and transparent review. Rest assured that all of my reviews are honest and transparent to the core, like I always do, for the benefit of everybody, of course including me, since again and again I won't be editing this extensively. English isn't really my native language, and again, I prefer writing reviews rather than recording them personally. Okay. So the Tipsy M1 or the Tipsy M1 IEM is a $99 IEM. So we'll just round it off to 100 USD. So it is a 100 USD IEM. So it is around 5,000 to 6,000 pesos in Philippine money. Tipsy isn't really a new brand, or it isn't really a new brand at all. Tipsy as a brand has been in the IM market for years now. It's just that they are usually under the radar, or at times they are like experimenting, to say the least. They are experimenting on how they execute or how they present their IEMs, because I had a Tipsy IM before, and I kind of forgot the name of that IM, and based on my experience, I personally did not like that IM, not because of the sound. Don't get me wrong, the sound is good, but because of the too much driver flex that the previous Tipsy IM had before. Probably because it doesn't have vents. I'm not even sure if it's a prototype or something, but it doesn't have any vents at all. That it made the overall experience a little bit uncomfortable to my ears, mainly because of that vacuum effect or that driver flex. But all of those issues are now addressed and are now fixed actually with their M1. So yeah, comparing to that, it this is literally a night and day difference to me in a very good way. Spoiler alert, it is a really good way if you prefer its sound. Okay. So here's the box. As you can see here, the box is really good. I like the design of this box. Of course, it is on the larger side of boxes, but um some people, or actually most people that I know, expecting are expecting a box that is visually pleasing, especially when they, what do you call this, especially when they spend like $100 or so in an IM, and this does fit the bill. As you can see, it is really nice. It is really visually pleasing. It has somewhat of a 3D effect on the earphones itself as well, which is a really good thing. There are also other colorways of this one. I believe there's a red version and there's a green version. It would be nice if I got the green version, because I prefer the color green, but hey, beggars can be choosers. So yeah, what I have here is the blue version, and I believe the blue version is inspired by Van Gogh's work. As you can see here um with the patterns here, based on their website as well, or their Facebook page, the Tipsy M1's faceplate is based off Van Gogh's painting. So that's a really good thing, and that is a nice touch for something, for a visually pleasing IM, not just some run of the mill common-ish IM. So hats off to Tipsy on that one. As you can see, this is a 1DD dynamic driver stage in-ear monitor earphone, and yes, this does use the bamboo fiber diaphragm. Recently, from based on what I observe, a lot, or a couple of IMs actually are emerging wherein they use a wood diaphragm, like the Twistura wood note that I have reviewed months ago. um some other, I do believe there are other IEMs as well in the market that uses a wood diaphragm. Yes, the Heidi's Mark 10, I sorry, the Mark 11. Yes, I haven't reviewed it yet, but I personally experienced it at our November Hi-Fi show here in the Philippines, and they say that it uses a wood driver as well, or a wood diaphragm. So yeah, and I seem to like the character. Yes, I seem to like the character of the wood drivers because it somewhat has a unique characteristic in the mids, wherein they try to thicken, or yes, they try to give body to the mids. The wood diaphragm adds a little bit of body to the mids while it not sounding too drowned or too sloppy or too smudgy. So that's a really good thing to me. It gave me the same experience I had when I first listened to an LCP diaphragm in an IEM and in a what do you call this, in an earbud. Yes, I actually had someone custom made a stock, yeah, like bare bone stock, no tuning, LCP diaphragm earbuds before, and yeah, I kind of like the result on that one. Same goes with the SPD drivers. Those types of unique drivers has their unique characteristics, and here with the bamboo or wood diaphragm here, it is really nice. I am digging the characteristics of the wood diaphragm. But of course, tuning still prevails. I mean, tuning of the brand is still the most important thing, to keep that in mind, because of course the drivers are just one thing, a good driver is just one thing, but the tuning will still bring the most of an IM. Okay, and as you can see, they are optimized for musician listening and live sound, field restoration, all of that marketing stuff. But yeah, since if you look at the Tipsy's website, it seems that they cater musicians or professionals. So I'd like to think that the Tipsy IM is the more livelier, or the more musical version of the NF Acous, because NF Acous mostly focuses on the precision, mostly focuses on the incisiveness, on the analytical side of things, while this one, the spoiler alert, the Tipsy M1 focuses more on the musical side of things, which is a really good thing actually, to balance out the analytical character, or the analytical listening of the NF Acous. So yeah, you have two poisons there, pick what you prefer. Okay, here's the additional details of the musician series of the M1. Bamboo fiber diaphragm, double cavity, high precision 3D printing. Yes, this is a 3D printed IM. It's not plastic. Yes, it is in 2-pin connection, but yeah, it is also in QDC connection, 2-pin 0.78, but in QDC. So that will be a downer to some people. Personally, I really don't mind, but of course, it slightly limits the compatibility of 2-pin cables, because you will, for a flush fit, you will now have to look for a QDC IM, or a QDC cable IM, or IM cable. Yeah. So there's that. Stage monitoring standards, of course, and the data engineering design. Here are some specifications. As you can see here, it has a sensitivity of 106 decibels, impedance of 24 ohms. So this is fairly easy to drive actually. You won't need to use a 4.4 of this one, but it slightly does benefit. But it's actually very negligible in my humble opinion. Okay. So as for the packaging on this one is quite modest, at the same time none lacking in my opinion, except for one area, which is the ear tips. For this price, I would have expected another set of ear tips aside from the foam tips, like probably some wide bores or something, or probably some narrow bores, I don't know. They could have added additional, but yeah, again, this is what we get and we'll make the most out of it. They also have this, which is a very cool paperwork. As you can see, they say here hello, with some step by step on how to use the earphones. As you can see here, yes, as you can see, I like the design. I like the design on that one. Yeah, as you can see, left seated, right seated. They also have this warranty activation here, and this is the founder, which is Mason Lee. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, but yeah, this is Mason Lee. Here's the founder, chief engineer, and an obsessive listener. They also have this backstory here, as you can see there, pause to read. And yes, they are since 2016. As what I've told, Tipsy has been in the game for quite some time now. Actually, a decade, almost a decade. Uh, it's just that they don't usually release IMs like regularly. So yeah, take that if you will. They also have this sleek 6.3 to 3.5 connection if you're planning to use this on, or sorry, adapter, if you're planning to use this with let's say audio interface. Yeah, you can use it. And they also have this one. I'm not sure if this is a coffee coaster or probably for you to put your IM when you're not using it. Oh, as you can see, it's a coaster, absorbent coaster. So yeah, this can work as where you put your IM when you're not using it, or you can use this with your coffee, I think. So it is made of hard paper. Yeah, and it is made of paper, and as you can see, feeling a little bit tipsy, just like in the box, feeling a little bit tipsy. You can see, yeah, here's the case itself with the feeling a little bit tipsy. And it seems that if you purchase it to them, they'll put your name here if you want to, just like the custom IM days, as you can see, it has a little bit of clothing down there for you to have a scratch free IM. You can see, and here's the IM and the cable itself. Some people might say that the cable on this one is quite thin, which I understand for the price, but at the same time, it seems that it is really made in high quality because the cable is soft and literally has zero microphonics in the IM, or that affects the IM. Not to mention that the hardware on this one is also very nice. It is not common. It is uncommon actually. Would you look at that? It is quite uncommon in my humble opinion. Not all IMs have that splitter. Not all IMs have that chin slider, and not all IMs have that jack shape like that. It looks like a bottle, like a sleek bottle to it. And here is the IM itself. Again, this is in QDC connection, so yeah, um there can be some slight incompatibilities, but for most people a two pin cable will work here just fine. And as you can see, the Tipsy logo right there. Oh, yeah, there we go. It's really nice. I do like the design of this one. Ooh, the blue on that one is quite striking actually, with the M1 logo there, so you can see here. Yes, and it also has the vent here. It kinda addressed, yes, it kinda addressed the issue that I had with the Tipsy IM that I had before. Okay, now as for the fit, comfort, and isolation, the fit on this one, surprisingly, is on the smaller side of things, which means that those people with average sized ears or with smaller sized ears will fit with the Tipsy M1 IM just fine. As a person that has a set of large ears, this fits my ears really well actually. I, it kind of fit my ears snug for some reason, which is a really good thing. Um because I was expecting it to be a little bit loose, but as you can see, I am only using the small size here and it fits my ears really well. So yeah, for most people, those people with smaller ears fit will fit on the Tipsy M1 just fine. You will be having no problems using that. Okay, now again, as for the pairing of the Tipsy M1, again, you will have no problems because it is fairly easy to drive. Most of the time, or when I'm on the go and when I'm not using my Hebe R4, my DAP, I use this with my Venture Electronics Devastator, and it pairs with it just fine. Doesn't it doesn't seem to hinder the overall performance of the IEM actually. So yeah, you won't be having any problems in theory, with even with an Apple dongle, you wouldn't be having any problems. But for good measure, get yourself at least a 2 VRMs of output power dongle with the Tipsy M1. Okay? Okay. Now, as for the sound, what is the sound of the Tipsy M1? Yes, the Tipsy M1 caters those people with a very sensitive sets of ears, because this one is still V-shaped. It is mildly V-shaped actually, but leans on the warmer side of things. It leans on the warmer bassy side of things. I personally, it is still a debate to me on should I categorize this as a bass heads IM, because yes, it does have the bass, it does have the slammy thick, slammy, uh, chunky. Yes, it is quite redundant bass response, but at the same time, it doesn't have the sloppiest. Yes, it doesn't have that sloppy, dirty bass vibes going on to it, which is a good thing. Of technically, it is a good thing, but some people want their bass a little bit boomy, especially those bass heads at heart. That what they kind of want that. But yeah, this doesn't have that. But at the same time, I enjoyed the bass of the Tipsy M1 a lot. In fact, that is the highlight. The bass is the highlight of the Tipsy M1, because despite it having that warm, uh, warm characteristic, it is still fairly controlled. The decay is on the average side. It doesn't seem to have a slow or a fast decay, so it fits most genres actually. Even vocal centric tracks, like for example, uh, Best Friend, I believe. Yeah, yeah, Best Friend by Nicki, or any track of Nicki that doesn't have that bass that much. Ay, sorry, it is Around by Nicki from the album Zephyr. It fits the Tipsy M1 really well actually. It doesn't seem to have any intrusive or chronic bleed to it, to the vocals, or to the mids, which is a really good thing. So yeah, if you're looking for an IM with a very well executed or implemented bass response, the Tipsy M1 would be one of the recommendations or top recommendations that I can recommend to you, because yes, this doesn't have the quantity that the 7 hertz legato has, but this has the quality of a 100 USD or 150-ish USD IM bass, which I am looking for in this price point. Okay? Now, as for the mids on this one is still thick. It is still warm. At the same time, it is lush. It is smooth. But at the same time, it doesn't seem to hinder, or it doesn't seem to lack any details for this asking price, which is what I would expect, because most IMs with this type of sound character does kind of lacks on the vividness, the clarity on the resolution, which also some other bass heads asks me if there's an IEM that has the details that they want, but at the same time it does have the bass that they are looking for as well. And yes, the Tipsy M1 has that, which is a very good news. Okay, so I do expect that the lower mids, especially the vocals of Ed Sheeran, Brendan Urie, or probably Tyler the Creator, here is a little bit thicker than usual. Okay, now as for the upper frequencies, yes, you won't be expecting any fatigue here. It is still mildly elevated, but at the same time, it doesn't have any sibilance, harshness, or anything like that. It still has that clarity, it still has that air, but it doesn't seem to extend that well. For It doesn't seem to extend that really well, or for me to call it bright. It does extend to a certain point, but at the same time, it avoids any fatigue, or it avoids any piercing or any unnatural sibilance, which is a good thing, because I can recommend this to anyone who prefers a V shape, but at the same time doesn't want that sibilance, because their ears are sensitive to boosted upper frequencies. Okay? Now, as for the treble in this one is pretty much the same in character compared to or just like its upper frequencies. So, you'll get some decent extension, decent air, but it won't be the most what do you call this? It won't be the most bright. It won't be the most extended treble response that you'll hear in an IEM under 100 USD. In fact, some people, including me, at times find this as like borderline dark when it comes to the extension, because it is quite relaxed actually. It is quite relaxed. It doesn't seem to have any bite to it, which can be a good thing or a bad thing depending on one's preference. But yeah, um on the good news, however, it still has that details that you're looking for a 100 USD IM. But at the same time, I don't recommend this using for critical or analytical listening, because this doesn't have that character. Actually, the NFACUS NA20 has that. So, or NM20. So, if you're looking for that, well, go for that other IM. But if you're looking for a very relaxed, very musical sound character, the Tipsy M1 is the best option for it. Okay, now as for the technical chops on this one is technically not the best, but at the same time, it doesn't seem to lag, or it doesn't seem to hinder the overall IM's performance. So, think of it as this IM in technical chops is average at best. Okay, so you'll get a wide soundage for an IM. You'll still get a very decent separation and layering for an IM. Probably on some very busy tracks, like for example Asphyxia by Koshinwe, or Let Me Hear by Fear, and Loathing in Las Vegas, there will be some slight hiccups going on, especially when things get busy, but it's nothing serious actually. And the imaging on this one is precise. It is fairly precise. I actually use this for podcasts or for music listening, like live concerts and such, and even some games, and I had no problems on this one as well. Okay, so where should we compare this? We should compare this with the fairly with the IMs that are similarly priced to this. So we can compare this with the SimGot EM6L. I know it's a little bit unfair because that one's a hybrid IM, while this one is a 1DD IM. But again, some people, or most people that ask me, do not usually look for the drivers or the driver count. They actually look for the price. So yeah, I'll be comparing it price wise. Okay, when compared, the Tipsy M1 is a lot thicker. It is a lot smoother as well when compared to the SimGot M6L. It also doesn't have that driver quirk, because it doesn't have any BA or planar or piezoelectric driver to it when compared to the SimGot EM6L. Even though the SimGot EM6L's driver timbre is very minimal. Okay? But in return, the SimGot EM6L has better technical chops actually. It has better mids when it comes to the overall texture and presence. So pick what you prefer. Personally, I kind of prefer the Tipsy M1 because I wanted something unique. I wanted something new, because I have experienced a lot of IMs that follows the SimGot EM6L sound character. So yeah, it's just me wanting something unique or something a little bit different compared to the usual IM game. Okay? Now, where should we compare this next? We should compare this next with the NFACUS NM20. When compared, the NFACUS NM20, just like what I have told earlier, is a brighter sounding IM. It is a brighter, more neutral, more resolving IM that has some potential peaks, potential sibilance on the upper frequencies. When compared to the Tipsy M1, the Tipsy M1 actually is the more thicker, the more body, the more comfortable listening experience for most people. So yeah, they are literally different when it comes to the overall sound character, and just pick what you prefer. Okay? Now, where should we compare this next? We should compare this next with the Duno Kima 2. Okay, when compared to the Duno Kima 2, the Duno Kima 2 is actually more neutral. It is more neutral and less thicker when compared to the Tipsy M1. Um, it doesn't seem to exhibit any, what do you call this? Any peaks aside from its vocals. Although the vocals, it doesn't really peak, but more of they are forward actually. when compared to the Tipsy M1. So again, they are in different sound signatures, and just really pick what you prefer because, oh yeah, the technical chops actually of the Tipsy M1 is a little bit better when compared to the Duno Kima 2. But I have to admit the Duno Kima 2's tonality is better than the Tipsy M1. So really pick what you prefer. I actually prefer both, and I'll actually use it depending on the probably my mood, or probably what I prefer to listen to it that time. Okay, so I'll switch to the Tagalog version of this review for a quick rundown. Okay, so si Tipsy M1 IM is a 6,000 or 5,000 pesos IM. Depende sa palitan ng pera, I guess. And yes, matagal na itong brand na to. It's just that ano sila like under the radar, and hindi sila gumagawa ng IMs madalas. Nagki-cater sila ng musicians. Yes, ng musicians, ng professionals. But yung take nila usually is nasa mabasi side of things based dito sa M1. So literally kabaliktaran sila ng NF Acous, kasi ang NF Acous is mas nasa technicalities, sa incisiveness, sa clarity talaga. Whereas itong si M1 is nasa musical side of things. Probably yung musician is nagpapahinga ganito ganyan. Okay, so ayan yung accessories niya. For the price, I'd say okay naman, pero sana ang ginawa nila parang anong tawag doon? Parang nilagyan pa nila ng isang set. Oo, ng isang set ng ear tips sana, pero yeah, again, beggars can be choosers, and actually maganda naman yung ear tips. Wala kang magiging problem sa ear tips na ito. Soft siya, madali i-fit. Lalo na to actually, itong IM na to, ang dali niya i-fit sa tenga kasi pwede siya kahit sa maliit na tenga eh. Akala ko nung una malaki siya. Tingnan niyo sa picture, parang malaki siyang IM, pero hindi, maliit lang pala siya. So yeah, wala kang magiging problem sa fit na ito. Even sa pairing, kahit apple dangle lang dito, okay na eh, actually. So, sa tunog niya, yung tunog na ito is nasa V-shape, pero nasa warm side of things. Na actually, medyo naiiba siya compared sa norm. Kasi halos lahat ngayon nagtatarget na sa neutral, sa JM1, sa neutral na may bass boost. While ito talaga is classic V-shape siya, na iniiwasan niya lahat ng sibilance. Iniiwasan niya yung brightness actually. So, pwede ito maging good thing sa mga taong sensitive sa upper treble, and sa mga taong mahilig sa bassy pero ayaw ng bass head level na IM. But at the same time, hindi ito pwede sa mga taong naghahanap ng extra presence sa treble. There are times na tunog dark siya, dark sounding. May time na kukulangan ako sa extension ng treble. Pero ayun nga, hindi naman talaga siya like big deal, kasi hindi naman siya tunog ngo or anything at all. Sobrang layo. Actually, napaka-comforting ng Tipsy M1. Take it from me as a guy na mahilig sa neutral or flat sounding sets, or literal naka-etemotic 90% of the time. And nagustuhan ko tong Tipsy M1 as something na parang gusto ko lang mag-casual listening, na parang hindi ako nakukulangan sa technical chops. So, yeah, very recommended ko tong Tipsy M1 if naghanap ka ng warm sounding IM na medyo makapal yung tunog and medyo pogi. Yan, tingnan mo, visually pleasing talaga. Literal nagdiningning yung kulay blue na ito. Okay? So, switch na ako sa English review para sa verdict ko and sa closing remarks. Okay, so what's my verdict here with the Tipsy M1 IM? The Tipsy M1 IM is definitely a very good IM. It is a very good IM under 100 USD if and only if you know what you really prefer. Why is that so? Because the Tipsy M1 IM isn't really an IM that like copies or that has a similar characteristics to the other sets that are released recently. Those IMs usually aim for a JM1 sound target, neutral with a bass boost, U-shaped sounding target, while the M1 sticks to its classic V-shaped sounding character, while at the same time avoiding any potential or possible peaks, harshness, or sibilance to it. Overall, my experience here is here in the Tipsy M1 is literally smooth. It is smooth, it is thick, at the same time it is well-bodied. I can even say that the mids are quite enveloping, but yeah, I don't like using that terms actually. But yeah, for the most part, or for the most genres, I enjoyed it here with the Tipsy M1. I had no problems. Of course, if we're talking like objectively, you won't be having any problems. But if you're talking subjectively, you will definitely look for a treble, for more treble energy here with the Tipsy M1 if you prefer treble. But for the most part and most people, the Tipsy M1 IM is definitely a very very good IM for basically everything, whether you're be gaming or listening to music, listening to your CDs, which I did last night, and yeah, listening to podcasts or anything like that, while keeping the visual aesthetics really clean and really visually pleasing. So yeah, hats off to Tipsy for creating something different. You're one of those companies that creates something different in today's time, and I do hope that you stick onto that and improve further. Okay, and now that ends my review for the Tipsy M1. Again, I'd like to thank Tipsy for sending this unit to me, and in exchange for a very honest and transparent review. Rest assured that all of my reviews are honest and transparent to the core, like I always do, for the benefit of everybody, of course, including me. Since again and again, I won't be editing this extensively, English isn't really my native language, and I prefer writing reviews rather than recording them. Okay? Now, as for the backlogs, I have a lot of backlogs here. Actually, these came in the mail earlier this week. Like, for example, this one. I wasn't actually expecting to be showcased or to be reviewing this one, the Ear Acoustic Audio Elysian Fields Genesis. So yeah, that's a very pressuring thing, because they even put my name here, as you can see. I'm not sure if it can be seen clearly, but yeah, they kind of put my name there, bro. That's crazy. And yeah, also these came in the mail last week. This is the Venture Electronics Guangxi. It doesn't look that like much, pero but yeah, I'll showcase it soon. And also this one, the Jade Audio. The Jade, it looks like Jade Audio, and it looks like my logo right there, which is a really cool thing. Jade Audio JH13. So yeah, I do believe this is a budget. This is a budget IM. So yeah, it's been a while since I've heard a budget IM, and this, I do believe this is priced around the same as the Kiwi Ears Bell. Yeah, so that will be a really good comparison. Okay, and thank you for stopping by. Have a happy holidays and Merry Christmas to everyone, and see you on the next one. Isa pa? Last one.